you can create your own souvenir to remind you of Phuket. Here, anyone staying at the hotel can come along and try their hand at being an artist, like I'm doing. This is a seascape, but you can come and try doing something else. It's like painting with watercolors on damp paper. That's the technique. Yeah, she says that's enough. There's no doubt that the surrounding tropical beauty is simply calling out to be captured for all eternity. Anyone who wants to can create their own landscape canvas or try subjects suggested by the teacher here. The technique is very much like batik. In fact, the batik technique was developed in these parts. The contours of the image and the separate sections of the material are covered in a special solution that stops the colors mixing or spreading out across the whole surface. It takes about an hour to create one of these pictures, but the time simply flies by unnoticed. So our canvas is finished, and this is what we've ended up with. I've noticed one thing, that when two artists meet, nothing can separate them, not even linguistic barriers. So I want to thank Sophie, to wish her all the best, and to wish her great creative success. Thank you. The Dusit Thani Hotel is steeped in the shade of palm trees and full of aromatic tropical flowers. It's a place where you can truly rest body and soul. And if the soul rests whilst relishing the sunshine, nature and a carefree vacation, then the islanders are on hand to create a celebration for the body. To be more precise, those whose hands are capable of removing weariness. The hotel has a wonderful spa salon where professional masseurs can raise your spirits and your energy levels. I'm trusting the thousands of years of experience that Thailand has in massage, and thanks to these good-hearted hands, I'm now full of strength and energy. I'm ready for new adventures. And when you're again full of energy, which needs to be used up immediately, that's the best time to head for the beach. Among the many attractions offered by the Dusit Thani Hotel, there's one that allows you to be convinced that you really don't know how to surf. That's certainly true in my case. But I've got a chance to learn, and I'm going to be helped in this by the great surfing master, Mr. Key.
I'm ready. Okay. Yes. Oh! Oh, Боже, что я делаю?
Lord, what am I doing?
Yes.
Having been developed in Polynesia in the distant past and having won popularity around the world in the 1960s and 1970s, this form of active recreation is gaining ever more fans. But it's not always first-time lucky in this sport. In order to learn how to elegantly and beautifully glide across the smooth sea surface, you have to take more than a few dips. And perhaps, after several more dips, you'll manage to stay upright on a windsurfer. And that will be a major step in the direction of mastering the sport. The island of Phuket, to a large extent, attracts lovers of beach holidays. The Andaman Sea, however, can offer some alternative pastimes. Fishing, for example. Experienced fishermen say that Phuket and the surrounding area is populated by a huge variety of edible fish. Phuket is a great place for novices and professional fishermen alike. Here you can catch a marlin, a barracuda, a tuna, 39 small exotic species. The most popular technique is trailing with a moving vessel. Many hotels and dive centres in Phuket offer this kind of fun. You needn't worry about tackle and bait. The main thing is that you appreciate the thrill of fishing and have a little bit of experience to back you up. We asked the boat's driver to take us to a place where the current is strong. I've just cast my line and it's already gone under the boat. The main thing is to stay on the ball. I've got 6 hooks on, so I don't want to go pulling it out all for just one fish, so I'm going to wait. I've got 6 hooks and I'm going to wait for 6 tugs. I've got to keep a track of every one though. I've already got 2. We've already caught a tuna. This is sashimi. The combination of these two fish is astonishingly delicious. And we've only been fishing for about 10 minutes. 3. Having got a big enough catch, I'm continuing my voyage on the Andaman Sea. Around Phuket there's a huge number of beautiful islands. Some of them, in the Phi Phi archipelago for example, are part of a national park and they're a real attraction for tourists. This place also won renown when the film The Beach was shot here. But the islands of Phi Phi are of interest not only because of their heavenly appearance. The underwater world surrounding the archipelago is incredibly varied and attracts divers from around the world. Its history dates back centuries. Every tourist, even if they've never had anything to do with diving, has a chance to discover the beauties of the underwater world here. The watery depths have long attracted man, and once you've been on a dive, you'll find yourself forever in love with this new world. The extraordinary shapes of the corals and schools of colourful fish, there's an incredible feeling of weightlessness and a smoothness in movement that creates unforgettable impressions. Possesses a developed hope to take up diving professionally. And you can do just that here on the island of Phuket. You can take a course and receive an international diving certificate in just a few days. Make the Laguna Phuket Resort Complex. Diving on the island of Phuket is one of the most popular forms of active recreation here, attracting many to this delightful island. Full service, the first dive here, return to Phuket again and again. The feature of the climate on Phuket is that it doesn't have the 4 seasons that we have in Europe. Here, it's summer for half the year, for the second half of the year, but with tropical rains and winds. It's best to come here from November to April. At the height of the tourist season, there are lots of people all around, day and night. When the midday heat dies down, it's wonderful to walk through the cool alleys and streets of the island's towns and admire the sunset, particularly on Patong Beach. Phuket is sometimes dubbed the Pearl of Thailand. Many know it as a resort heaven. This island, and it's about the same size as Singapore. Every year, Phuket is visited by about 2 million tourists from all over the world. Some instructor can teach you the subtle stretch along the eastern coast. Others come to appreciate the tropical natural environment. A third group comes to admire the national character and atmosphere, and there's certainly no shortage of that. In order to understand this, you should head for the Banzan City Market, which is in the centre of Patong. Here you can see a huge number of different fruits, and you shouldn't forget about the economic component. You have to really haggle, and you have to enjoy doing it. Fruit occupies a key place in the Thai menu. There's a huge quantity of them. Apart from coconut and pineapple, you can also try exotic durian, longan, guava and many more. This is the jackfruit, the contents of this vast sphere. It grows right out of the tree branch on this short stem. This huge sphere is filled with small fruits that are really lush and succulent. And everyone tiny hotel, Pacha Rambutan. It's really sweet and lovely. It's got this tender taste. It's fairly easy to peel, and you do it something like this. Thais usually use a huge number of vegetables in combination with meat rather than as separate dishes. They use them together with poultry or fish in both hot and cold salads. And here we've got all manner of crabs. Note that they're alive and that their claws have been tied up with these bands so they don't hurt themselves. Here we've got some fish that live in the seashore sand. These are small sea perch that sit in the corals waiting to pounce. And here's a tuna fish. This is an Andaman black tuna. You can make wonderful sashimi with one of these. And what they've got for us now, of course, is a wonderful sea pie. Fish and other seafood on the island are served in huge quantities. Thus, the incredible assortment to be found at the market is truly vast. You can't eat all of them, however. Now, this is a shark. It's called a sea angel. You can see that its snout is like that of a ray. In fact, the meat on this fish isn't really suitable for eating, but they're sold here as exotica. And here we've got a huge quantity of mollusks. The prices here are low, just 40 rubles or €1 per kilogram, but the time all into cooking them, and they do it so skillfully that it's one of my favorite seafood dishes. We open up the shell on, and these are Thai oysters. The sea here allows you to grow mollusks like this. I think you could dive across the island. This is an eel. How you eat them, what you do with them, I've absolutely tasted that's quite unique. It looks really exotic. The main thing is that you don't bite me, right? And this, I believe, is the most widespread fish in Thailand, the so-called channel catfish. It's found almost everywhere, in all the channels, ponds and puddles in the land. These are edible frogs. They say that they're absolutely delicious with garlic. I wouldn't, of course, eat a beauty like this. What if it were to turn into a princess? Patong is perhaps the most popular place, and give it a try, just for you. There's a glorious beach on the malls. Here you can try an unusual procedure, an ichtio massage. Thailand never stops. This is a freshwater fish from the carp family. It's called a gararufa, also wishimta. It doesn't have any teeth, and it actually sucks out hardened pieces of skin. After this procedure, the skin becomes cleaner and your soul becomes... Phuket is divided into 3 administrative districts. Villages and the little resort towns are linked by roads. To enjoy an excursion around the island, you can take a local taxi. In Phuket, there are small red vehicles called tuk-tuks. I've headed off into the depths of the island, into a tropical forest. Now this, at first glance, not particularly attractive wood was smuggled in from South America. You've probably guessed that it's a rubber tree. The climate in Thailand allows them to be grown here, and the latex can be collected from them in large volumes. To do this, cuts into the wood are made, a cup is put in place like this. This is usually done at